We have a Kamala speaker. Let's take this in. Let's listen to this.
Of the Harris campaign, the campaign family, thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the promise of America. We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation.
Wow.
So thank you. Yeah. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all.
Vote back. You're telling me this woman doesn't even have the stones to come out and address us? She just pulled a Hillary.
It's like the side by side is crazy.
I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood.
The side by side is crazy.
And there's not much left to watch here as the crowd is now dispersing, having been informed by Cedric Richmond, the influential former congressman and former director under President Biden of the White House Office of Public Engagement, who came out and spoke briefly to this crowd, some of which had already begun dispersing, and told them in remarks that lasted only 3 to 4 minutes to go home. That they would not be hearing from Vice President Harris tonight, that they will hear from her tomorrow. It was an extraordinary moment, and you could just sense the disappointment in this extraordinary crowd that turned out here. There were several thousand people here as of, say, 4 p.m., and the crowd grew and grew. And a lot of these people were standing on their feet literally for 7 to 8 consecutive hours. And it's baffling to this reporter, having covered presidential politics for the better part of 3 decades now, why the vice president didn't come here and reward that loyalty and, frankly, that suffering from her supporters. There would have been very little to lose for the vice president simply to appear and to say briefly that the votes are still being counted, to thank these supporters for their faith and to urge them to keep the faith and stay tuned. Even if she had spoken in advance of former President Trump, as long as she didn't declare victory, she would have been on terra firma. And instead, I think it's safe to say that the vice president and her campaign have left a very bitter taste in the mouth of the supporters who showed up here tonight, who waited patiently for their candidate to appear, who stood on their feet for 7 to 8 consecutive hours, and who had to go home empty-handed, in a sense. To be sure, the actual results of the balloting were already casting a pall on the party atmosphere here, but it was extremely, I think, disappointing to these supporters that the vice president not only turned out to be a no-show, but didn't even appear via video, didn't phone into this crowd. Remember how many times we saw presidents before President Trump became the first sitting president to visit the March for Life rallies, the anti-abortion rallies in Washington? How many years we saw presidents call in to those rallies? She could have done that as well. So it's baffling to see, but nonetheless, the crowd is just about gone at this point, and life will return to normal here in the yard of Howard University outside Frederick Douglass Memorial Hall. John?
It's not even phoning it in tonight for watch party.
Nice
James Rosen, maybe.
picture.
Maybe James can get out of there. Well, at least one.
What kind of woman is this? How do you expect her to basically do anything that she said? How could any news person on any network stand up for this woman after what she just pulled? There is no way this woman should. How many people would be willing to go change their vote? They've been scammed.
Oh, it's crazy.
Completely bamboozled. She doesn't even come out and say, sorry, we're still waiting on this, trying to figure out how we can steal it. We're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. We got trucks showing up, so we'll figure it out tomorrow. Go send some lackey out there. Which is the exact same thing that Hillary did.